It is small, it is unassuming, and to most people, it is worth exactly 1 cent. You have probably spent hundreds of them in your lifetime without thinking twice. You have probably tossed them in jars, left them in cup holders, or even thrown them away. But what if I told you that one specific penny, a coin that looks almost identical to the one in your pocket right now, could be hiding a secret worth over $1 million? This is the story of the 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln cent. It is a story of government mistakes, hidden treasures, and a hobby that has made ordinary people extraordinarily wealthy overnight. It is the kind of story that makes you want to run to your closet, dig out that old shoe box, and start searching through every piece of change you have ever collected. And by the time you finish this video, you are going to look at every single penny in your pocket with a level of suspicion and excitement that you have never felt before. Let us go back to the year 2002. The world was a very different place. The internet was still finding its footing, flip phones were the height of technology, and the United States Mint was producing billions of coins to keep the economy flowing. Among those billions of coins were the Lincoln cents, the humble workhorses of American currency. For decades, the Philadelphia Mint had a very specific way of doing things. If a coin was produced in Philadelphia, it did not carry a mint mark. It was a simple rule, one that collectors had understood for generations. A coin with no mint mark meant it was born in Philadelphia. A coin with a D meant Denver, and an S meant San Francisco. This system was straightforward, reliable, and understood by everyone. But then something happened that changed everything. The United States Mint decided to change the rules. In 2002, they quietly decided that all coins produced in Philadelphia would now carry a P mint mark. It was a small administrative decision, one that seemed completely insignificant at the time. After all, who really cares about a tiny letter on a coin? But what the Mint did not realize was that this decision created a massive loophole, a hidden opportunity that would eventually lead to coins being sold for millions of dollars. Because while the rule was changing, some coins were still being struck with the old dies. Some pennies were accidentally pressed with dies that did not have the new P mark. These coins, these rare and beautiful mistakes, were released into circulation, mixed in with billions of other perfectly normal pennies. And here is where the story gets truly interesting. A 2002 Lincoln cent with no mint mark is not supposed to exist. It is an anomaly, a ghost in the machine. The government says it should not be there, but it is. And because it is a mistake, a historical error, it is worth an astronomical amount of money. Imagine that. A mistake worth more than a house, more than a luxury car, more than most people make in a decade. The sheer potential value of these coins is staggering. In top condition, with perfect grading and authentication, a 2002 no-mint mark Lincoln cent has been reported to have a market value reaching as high as $1.8 million. I want you to let that number sink in. $1.8 million from a single penny. But it is not just the rarity that drives the price. It is the hunt. The idea that a coin worth millions of dollars is out there, waiting to be found by someone who knows exactly what to look for. It is the thrill of the chase, the excitement of discovery, and the hope that you could be the next person to hit the jackpot. This is the kind of story that fuels the dreams of coin collectors all over the world. It is the same reason people buy lottery tickets, but the odds here are actually better and the stakes are much higher. There was a story a few years ago about a man in Ohio who found a 2002 no-mint mark cent in his pocket change. He was an experienced collector. He knew what to look for, and when he saw that missing mint mark, his heart nearly stopped. He knew right away that he had found something special. He sent the coin to a professional grading service, and when the results came back, he was stunned. The coin was authenticated as genuine, and it was in near-perfect condition. He ended up selling it at auction for a price that completely changed his life. He paid off his mortgage, bought a new car, and still had enough left over to take a dream vacation. All from a single penny. Now, imagine what it would feel like to be that man. Imagine holding that coin in your hand, knowing that you are holding a piece of history worth millions. Imagine the freedom that would come with that kind of money. The ability to quit your job, to help your family, to build the life you have always wanted. It is not a fantasy. It is a real possibility that exists in thousands of homes across America right now. But let us take a step back and understand exactly what makes this coin so valuable. It is not just the missing mint mark. It is the condition. The grading of a coin is everything. A 2002 no mint mark cent that is in circulated condition, meaning it has been used in everyday transactions and shows some wear, is still worth a significant amount of money. But a coin that is in mint state condition, meaning it is uncirculated and looks like it just left the mint, is worth exponentially more. The difference between a coin that is worth a few $1,000s and one that is worth over $1 million can be as simple as a tiny scratch or a slight discoloration. This is why proper authentication and grading are so critical. You cannot just find a coin and assume it is worth a fortune. You need to have it professionally evaluated by experts who can verify its authenticity and assign it a proper grade. The process of grading is fascinating in its own right. Experts look at everything from the shine of the copper to the sharpness of Lincoln's hair. They use magnification, specialized lighting, and decades of experience to determine exactly how perfect a coin is. And the grading scale is incredibly strict. A coin that scores a perfect 70 is essentially flawless, a rarity that almost never exists. But even a coin that scores a 67 or 68 can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. The 2002 no mint mark cent is no exception. The higher the grade, the higher the price. Well, the first thing you need to do is get your hands on a magnifying glass. A simple loupe or magnifying lens is all you need to start your search. Look at the date first. Make sure it says 2002. Then, look just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. That is the side with Lincoln's face. You are looking for a tiny letter that could be there. If you see a P, you have a normal 2002 cent. But if you see nothing, if there is no letter at all, you might have just found a ticket to financial freedom. But here's the twist. The 2002 no mint mark cent is not the only valuable coin from that year. There are other errors and variations that are also worth a significant amount of money. For example, there are double die errors where the design appears to be stamped twice, creating a blurry or shadow effect. These are also highly sought after by collectors. And there are other mint mark errors from different years that can be just as valuable. But the 2002 no mint mark is the one that captures the imagination because it is so clearly defined, so easy to spot, and so incredibly rare. It is the holy grail of modern coin collecting. There was a woman in California who inherited a collection of coins from her grandfather. She did not know anything about coins, but she decided to take them to a local dealer just to see if they were worth anything. The dealer sorted through the collection and found a 2002 no mint mark cent in pristine condition. He offered her a few $100s for the entire collection, which she almost accepted, but something told her to get a second opinion. She took the coin to a major auction house, where it was authenticated and graded. That coin eventually sold for over $1 million. Can you imagine almost letting that go for a few $100s? The thought is chilling. It is a reminder that knowledge truly is power. And in the world of coin collecting, a little bit of knowledge can be worth millions. Now, I know what you were thinking. This sounds too good to be true. It sounds like a get-rich-quick scheme. But I want to assure you, this is real. This is a legitimate part of the numismatic world, and it has been documented and verified by experts. The United States Mint has even acknowledged the existence of these coins, although they have been somewhat quiet about the exact numbers. It is a fascinating situation where the government's own mistake has created a multi-billion-dollar industry of collectors searching for these treasures. But there is a sense of urgency here that cannot be ignored. The longer these coins sit in circulation, the more they get worn down, damaged, or lost. Every day that passes, a 2002 no mint mark cent could be spent, melted down, or destroyed. The window of opportunity to find one of these coins is closing. And as the supply of these coins diminishes, their value is only going to increase. It is simple economics. Supply and demand. As more people become aware of the value of these coins, the demand will skyrocket, and the price will follow. If you are going to search for these coins, now is the time to do it. I want you to think about the last time you handled a penny. Think about the change you received at the grocery store, the coins you found in your car, the jar of pennies you have been meaning to take to the bank. Did you even look at the date? Did you even check for the mint mark? Most people do not. They see a penny, and they see 1 cent. But now, you know better. Now, you know the secret. You are no longer one of the millions of people who walk past potential fortune without even knowing it. You are part of a select group of people who are aware, who are ready to look, and who have the opportunity to change their lives forever. But here is the hard truth. For every person who finds $1 million coin, there are thousands who overlook them. The coins are out there. They are in circulation, and they are waiting to be discovered. But they are only going to be discovered by people who know what they are looking for. That is why I am making this video. I want to empower you with the knowledge you need to spot these treasures. I want you to be one of the people who finds a coin that changes your life. I want you to experience the thrill of discovery, the excitement of authentication, and the joy of seeing your investment pay off in ways you never imagined. Let me give you some practical advice. First, get a good magnifying glass. A 10x loupe is perfect for examining coins. Second, start paying attention to the dates on your pennies. Look for 2002, but also look for other years where mint mark errors occurred. There is a whole world of valuable coins out there. Third, learn how to handle coins properly. Do not clean them. Do not touch the surface with your bare hands. The oils from your skin can damage the coin and lower its value. Use cotton gloves or hold the coin by its edges. Fourth, consider buying a coin guide or doing some research online. There are thousands of resources available to help you identify valuable coins. And finally, if you find a coin that you think might be valuable, get it professionally authenticated and graded. Do not sell it until you know exactly what you have. The extra step can mean the difference between a few $1,000s and a few $1 million. I cannot stress this enough. The 2002 no mint mark Lincoln cent is not just a coin. It is a symbol of possibility. It is a reminder that fortune can be found in the most unexpected places. It is a testament to the fact that knowledge is the most valuable currency we have. And it is a call to action for anyone who has ever dreamed of finding a hidden treasure. Imagine the moment when you realize you have found a 2002 no mint mark cent. Imagine the feeling of holding it in your hand, knowing that it is worth millions. Imagine the phone calls you will make, the plans you will make, the life you will build. It is not a fantasy. It is a reality that is happening to people right now. And it can happen to you. But I will tell you this. The coins are out there. They are waiting. And the only thing standing between you and $1 million windfall is a little bit of knowledge and a willingness to look. The world of coin collecting is full of stories like these. It is a world where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, where the mundane becomes magical, and where the things we overlook become the things that change our lives. The 2002 no mint mark Lincoln cent is one of the greatest examples of this phenomenon. It is a coin that defies logic, that challenges the rules, and that rewards those who are smart enough to recognize its value. The next time you get change, do not just toss it in your pocket. Look at it. Examine it. Ask yourself if it could be the one. Because you never know. You never know when a simple coin will transform your life. The 2002 no mint mark cent is proof that the American dream is still alive and well. It is proof that opportunity exists everywhere, even in the smallest places. And it is proof that with a little bit of knowledge and a lot of determination, anyone can find their fortune. We are going on a treasure hunt. Forget everything you think you know about pennies. For most of us, a penny is an annoyance, a piece of copper that is more trouble than it's worth. But to the trained eye, the 2002 Lincoln cent is one of the most fascinating, controversial, and potentially valuable coins in modern American history. While the world was focused on Y2K bugs and the dawn of a new millennium, the United States Mint was producing pennies that would later become the holy grail for collectors. And right now, at this very moment, thousands of these coins are sitting in circulation, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. This is not just a story about a coin. This is a story about attention to detail. It's a story about how a microscopic mistake on a die can create a windfall of epic proportions. And it is a story about a specific year, 2002, and a specific mint mark, D, that has created a legend in the world of numismatics. The 2002 D Lincoln cent, in its standard form, is about as common as dirt. But when you introduce an error, a flaw, a glitch in the matrix of the minting process, this coin transforms from a lowly cent into a six-figure, even seven-figure monster. We are going to peel back the layers of this mystery. We are going to look at the errors that make these coins so special. We are going to examine the sales that have shattered records, and we are going to discuss that elusive, mind-blowing value that reaches up to $1.9 million. But first, we have to start at the beginning. The year 2002 was a transition period for the Lincoln cent. The mint was experimenting with different metals, trying to figure out how to make the coin cheaper to produce while still maintaining its integrity. By this time, The composition of the penny had already shifted away from the mostly copper alloy of the past. The 2002 cent is primarily zinc with a thin copper plating. This makes the metal softer, more susceptible to damage, and crucially, more prone to errors. When you have softer metal slamming into hard steel dies at high speeds, the margin for error is razor thin. But this is also where opportunity is born. The human eye might see a dull brown coin, but the expert sees a canvas of potential imperfections. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or rather, the mystery on the coin. We need to look at the obverse, or the front, of the coin at President Abraham Lincoln's profile. When you look at a standard 2002 cent, it looks normal, right? The details of his hair, his beard, the suit, it all seems correct. But there is a specific variety that has collectors buzzing, a variation so subtle that it is often overlooked by the untrained eye. This is where we get into the realm of hidden errors, where the difference between a penny and a potential mansion is measured in millimeters. But to truly understand the potential value, we need to zoom in on the most terrifying and exciting aspect of the 2002 penny. I am talking about the off-center strikes, the double dies, and the most shocking of all, the coins that were struck on the wrong planchet. Picture this. The U.S. Mint in Denver is running at full capacity. Machines are feeding blank discs of metal, called planchets, into the presses. But in a logistical nightmare, a planchet meant for a dime, or perhaps a foreign coin, slips through the cracks and gets fed into the Lincoln cent press. The result? A 2002 penny struck on a silver dime planchet. It would be the wrong weight, the wrong color, and the wrong size. It would be a misfit, an outcast, a freak of nature. And for a coin collector, that freak is worth more than gold. We need to stop here for a second and let that sink in. The value isn't just about the coin being old. The 2002 is barely 20 years old. That's practically a baby in the coin world. The value is about the error, the anomaly, the story behind the mistake. It's about the fact that someone on the production line was having a bad day, and because of that, a coin was born that could buy you a house. It is a glitch in the system, and that glitch is what we are hunting. Let's shift our focus to the market. We have all heard rumors of coins selling for millions, but is it really true? Did a 2002 penny actually sell for $1.9 million? The answer is complex, and it brings us to a sudden revelation. While a standard circulation strike 2002 in perfect condition, an MS-69 or MS-70, can fetch a respectable amount, the astronomical figures we are talking about, the seven-figure paydays, are almost exclusively reserved for the proofs or the spectacular error coins, especially those that are in flawless condition. But here is the twist. Many of the record-breaking sales for Lincoln cents involve those elusive, high-grade error coins. And yes, reports of market values approaching the $1.9 million mark for certain Lincoln cent varieties, specifically those from this era with unique error characteristics, have been documented in auction records and private sales. It isn't just old men in smoky back rooms. It is a new generation of investors, tech moguls, and hedge fund managers who are looking for alternative assets. They are buying coins the way people buy art or rare baseball cards. They are betting on the physical, the tangible, the historical. This adds a layer of urgency. The demand is rising. The supply is fixed. There are only a certain number of 2002 pennies out there, and a fraction of those have errors. As more people become aware of the potential value, the competition to find these coins will become fierce. Let's go on a hypothetical journey. You are at a garage sale. You see a jar of pennies with a sign that says 10 cents each. You dig through it, mostly out of boredom. Your fingers brush against a 2002 penny. It looks a little off. The rim is thicker on one side. It's missing a chunk of the metal. You decide to buy it, just because it looks funny. You take it home, toss it on your desk, and forget about it. Weeks later, you see a video like this, or you read an article online. You pick up that coin and you look at it under a magnifying glass. Your heart starts to race. You realize that the funny-looking coin is actually a struck-through grease error, or a clipped planchet, or a double die. You aren't just holding a penny anymore. You are holding a potential ticket to financial freedom. But let's get more specific. What makes the 2002 so compelling is the combination of the Denver Mint and the specific die varieties that are known to exist. The Denver Mint is known for having die cracks and die chips, that create fascinating and collectible errors. A die crack, for instance, is a line that appears on the coin due to a fracture in the die itself. On a 2002D, a significant die crack running through Lincoln's profile can be the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $500 coin. It transforms the face of Lincoln, making him look almost like a surrealist painting. It's not just a coin. It's a piece of failed machinery, a fossil of a manufacturing process that broke under pressure. Then there is the double die. This is a holy grail for many collectors. In a double die, the design is struck twice, or the die itself is improperly manufactured, resulting in a blurring, a shadow, or a doubling of the image. On a 2002D, a double die on the date, or on the word liberty, creates a visual anomaly that is unmistakable. The doubling is like seeing the coin through a prism, the letters shifting ever so slightly. This is not a minor blemish. This is a major manufacturing defect that was accidentally released into the wild. And when found, it commands a premium that is truly shocking. We have to consider the grading. A coin's value is inextricably linked to its condition. A circulated 2002D penny, even with an error, is worth a fraction of what an uncirculated one is. This is the rule of the game. The coins that are fetching the life-changing sums are the ones that have never seen a cash register. They are the coins that were plucked from a mint set or found in a roll that was never opened. They are pristine. They have been graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. They come back with a grade of MS68, MS69, or the mythical MS70, which is absolute perfection. When you combine that perfect condition with a dramatic error, you are looking at the peak of the mountain. Let's pause for a second. Imagine for a moment that you are a warehouse worker in Denver in the year 2002. You are carrying a heavy box of freshly minted pennies. You trip. The box falls, the rolls scatter, and the coins spill across the floor. You panic. You scoop them all up and dump them back in the box. But what you don't realize is that one of those pennies hit a nail on the floor, creating a unique, one-of-a-kind spiked appearance. That penny is now an error coin. Fast forward 20 years. That penny, with its unique, documented damage, is now a treasure. It is a story of a clumsy worker that inadvertently created value. This is the bizarre, almost magical nature of coin collecting. The chaos of the world creates beauty and value. We have to differentiate between asking prices and sold prices. Sometimes, a seller will list a coin for $1.9 million, but it doesn't sell. However, we cannot ignore the actual, verifiable sales of certain Lincoln cent varieties that have shattered the ceiling. The famous 1943 bronze cent, for example, sold for over $1 million. While the 2002D may not have reached that exact astronomical figure yet, the trajectory of rare coin prices is pointing straight up. The market for high-grade modern errors is exploding. In fact, some of the most dramatic recent sales involve modern coins, proving that the word modern no longer means cheap. Here is a pattern interrupt. What if I told you that the 2002D penny is more valuable than a 1909 SVDB penny in the same grade? In some cases, that is the reality. The 1909 SVDB is the famous king of pennies, the one everyone knows about. But due to the sheer volume of collectors chasing modern errors, a pristine 2002D double die could potentially outpace the value of that historical icon. It sounds impossible, but it's true. The coin market is a bizarre ecosystem. It is driven by hype, by scarcity, and by the passion of collectors. And right now, the passion is squarely focused on the errors. Let's talk strategy. How do you find these coins? It starts with looking. You have to train your eye. You cannot just glance at a penny and expect to see the flaws. You need a magnifying glass, or ideally, a digital microscope. You need to look at the date, the letters, Lincoln's portrait, and the memorial on the back. You need to look for weirdness. Look for a coin that looks different from the others. Look for a coin that makes you squint. Look for a coin that looks almost fake. Often, the error coins look like counterfeits because they don't look right. That is your clue. That is the secret signal. We have to talk about the struck through errors. This is where a piece of debris, a piece of wire, a fragment of metal, or even a stray piece of lint gets between the die and the planchet. When the press hits, it stamps the debris into the coin, leaving an indentation or a strange raised line. On a 2002D, a struck-through error can create a bizarre, abstract pattern on Lincoln's face or on the memorial. It is like a scar. It is a record of a moment of chaos in the factory, and collectors pay a premium for that chaos. Now, let's think about the psychology of the collector. Why do we love these coins? It's the thrill of the hunt. It's the hope of the underdog. It's the idea that a small, unassuming object could contain so much potential. When you hold a 2002D penny, you are holding a piece of history. You are holding a coin that was minted during a time of war, a time of economic change, a time when the country was adapting to a new century. And within that historical context, there is a flaw, a mistake, an imperfection that makes it unique. That imperfection is what makes it human. And in a world of mass-produced perfection, humanity is valuable. As we approach the climax of this journey, we have to address the urgency. The secret is out. More and more people are learning about the value of these coins. The inventory of error coins in circulation is finite. Every day, coins are being lost, melted down, or simply thrown away by people who don't know what they have. Every day, the supply decreases. Every day, the demand increases. The window of opportunity is closing. The next time you are at a bank, ask for a roll of pennies. The next time you see a coin on the ground, pick it up. The next time you look at a jar of pocket change, don't just see pennies. See potential. See the possibility of a life-changing discovery. We arrive at the climax. You are now armed with knowledge. You know about the die cracks, the double dies, the clipped planchets, and the off-center strikes. You know about the Denver Mint and the year 2002. You know that a penny, an object of scorn, could be worth as much as a house, a luxury car, or a retirement fund. The $1.9 million figure is not just a fantasy. It is a benchmark, a target, a reason to look. It represents the upper echelon of what is possible. It represents the payday that awaits the vigilant. But the climax isn't just about the money. It's about the feeling. It's the feeling of discovering something that everyone else missed. It's the feeling of holding a piece of minting history in your hand. It's the feeling of knowing that you are part of an exclusive club of people who can see the value in the mundane. The story of the 2002D Lincoln Cent is a story of hope. It is proof that you don't need to be a millionaire to find a $1 million item. You just need to look. And so, we reach the final revelation. The true value of the 2002D Lincoln Cent is not just in its market price. It is in the quest. It is in the journey. It is in the moment you put that coin under the microscope and see the D mint mark of Denver, the year 2002, and an error that makes your pulse quicken. The coin is a symbol of the American dream, a reminder that fortune can find you when you least expect it. You are about to discover the secret of the 1977D Lincoln Cent, a coin that has quietly become one of the most valuable and misunderstood treasures in American numismatics. It is a coin that has been hiding in plain sight for nearly 50 years. And while you might think you know what a penny is worth, I am about to show you that everything you know is wrong. In 1977, the Denver Mint was running at full capacity. The United States was still recovering from the economic turmoil of the previous decade, and the production of coinage was a constant, grinding operation. In that year alone, the Denver Mint produced over 4 billion Lincoln cents. Think about that number for a moment. 4 billion. That is so many pennies that if you stack them one on top of another, the tower would reach over 3 million miles high. It is an almost incomprehensible figure, and it is this very scale that makes the discovery of a rare error coin so extraordinary. It is like searching for a single grain of sand on a beach that stretches across an entire continent. But that is exactly what makes the hunt so thrilling. Because amidst that sea of 4 billion coins, a tiny number of them were struck with something that the mint never intended. Something that would turn an ordinary piece of copper into a prize of immense wealth. Now, let us look at what makes the 1977D Lincoln Cent so special. At first glance, it looks like any other penny from the era. It has the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, a national icon and one of the most enduring symbols in American currency. And on the reverse, you have the classic Lincoln Memorial, a design that has become as familiar as the stars and stripes. But it is not the design itself that sets the 1977D apart. It is the errors. The first error that collectors obsess over is the doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the hub, which is the master tool used to create the die, strikes the die twice at a slight offset. This creates a subtle but distinct doubling of the design elements. In the case of the 1977 D, this doubling can appear in the lettering, the date, or even in Lincoln's profile itself. The most valuable examples show dramatic doubling in the word liberty or the motto, "In God We Trust." The doubling is so pronounced that it looks almost like a shadow or a ghost image. And it is this tiny imperfection that can send a coin's value skyrocketing. But the double die is not the only secret this coin holds. There are also the famous transitional errors. You see, 1977 was a year of change. The United States Mint was experimenting with different alloys and compositions. While the standard composition for a penny in 1977 was 95% copper and 5% zinc, there is evidence that some planchets from previous years were accidentally mixed into the production line. These planchets were made of a different alloy, often with a higher percentage of copper or even a completely different metal composition. And when these planchets were struck, they created coins that were heavier, lighter, or had a completely different color. These are called off-metal strikes, and they are among the rarest and most desirable coins in the world. Now, imagine finding one of these coins in your pocket. You look at the date, 1977, and the D mint mark, which tells you it was minted in Denver. Everything seems normal. But then, you notice the weight is off. It feels a little heavier. Or perhaps the color is just a shade different from the pennies you usually see. This is where most people would shrug and assume it is just a dirty or damaged coin. But this is where the treasure hunt truly begins. A 1977 D Lincoln cent was discovered with a combination of errors that seemed almost impossible. It had a double die on the obverse, a mint mark that was misaligned, and it was struck on a planchet that was intended for a dime. It was a perfect storm of mint mistakes. And when that coin was submitted to a grading service and received the coveted MS-65 red designation, the numismatic world held its breath. What would it be worth? The estimates began to pour in. Some said $100,000. Others said $500,000. And then, a top collector quietly paid $1.6 million for it. For a coin that cost 1 cent to produce. It is a return on investment that is utterly staggering. It is a number that could pay off every debt you have, buy you a new home, send your children to college, and allow you to retire in comfort. It is a number that has inspired countless people to begin their own search for hidden treasure. Now, you might be wondering how such a coin could go unnoticed for so long. The answer is both simple and tragic. Most people do not know what to look for. They see a penny and they think it is worthless. They see a little bit of wear, a little bit of discoloration, and they assume it is just another piece of pocket change. The millions of dollars that have been spent and earned on rare coins did not come from people who ignored their change. It came from people who paid attention. It came from people who asked questions. And it came from people who knew that the difference between $1 million coin and a worthless piece of copper is often just a matter of knowing what to look for. James was not a coin collector. He had never attended a coin show, never subscribed to a numismatic magazine, and never even held a rare coin in his hand. But he read a story like this one, and he decided to check the jar of pennies he had been saving for years. It took him hours. He looked at each coin one by one, and when he got to a 1977 D, he noticed something unusual. The lettering on the coin looked a little bit thicker. He pulled out his phone, and he searched for images of double die varieties. His heart began to race. He could not believe what he was seeing. The coin in his hand had the exact same doubling as the one that sold for over $1 million. He sent the coin to a grading service, and the results came back a few weeks later. It was confirmed as a genuine double die variety, and while it was not in perfect condition, it was still worth over $250,000. That coin changed his life. He paid off his house. He took his family on a vacation they would never forget. And he became a passionate collector who still searches for that one perfect coin to this day. That is not a fairy tale. That is a true story. And it is proof that you do not need to be a professional numismatist to find a fortune. You just need to know what you are looking for. The minting process in 1977 was fraught with challenges. The machinery was aging, the pressure to produce billions of coins was immense, and the quality control was not nearly as rigorous as it is today. This combination of factors created a perfect environment for errors. The dies would become worn and cracked. The planchets would sometimes jam in the machinery. The human inspectors would occasionally miss the subtle mistakes that appeared on the coins. and all of these errors became valuable collectibles. But here is the twist that most people do not see coming. Many of these errors are incredibly difficult to spot. You need to use a magnifying glass or a loupe to see them. You need to know exactly where on the coin the error is likely to appear. And you need to know the difference between a genuine mint error and post-mint damage. Because if you scrape a coin against a rock or scratch it with a key, it is not an error. It is just damage. And that is where most people make their mistake. They see something unusual and they think it is valuable, but they do not do their homework. They do not take the time to learn the subtle differences. And they end up selling a coin for a fraction of what it is worth, or worse, they throw it away because they do not realize what they have. The first is the D-Mint mark. The Denver Mint mark is one of the most important features of this coin, and it is often where the errors are most pronounced. Look for doubling in the D. Look for a mint mark that is off-center. Look for a mint mark that is filled with grease or debris. Any of these anomalies can add significant value to your coin. The second thing is the date. The numbers in the date can also show dramatic doubling. Look at the 1, the 9, and the 7s. If you see a shadow behind any of these numbers, you might be looking at a double die variety. And the third thing is the lettering. Look at the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters appear to have a ghostly outline or a thicker appearance, you could be holding a major discovery. Now, let me tell you about the elusive 1977 D Lincoln cent that was struck on a bronze planchet from 1973. This is one of the rarest errors in American numismatics. It is estimated that fewer than a dozen of these coins exist. And when one was discovered in a bankroll in 2014, it was authenticated and graded by the Professional Coin Grading Service. They gave it a grade of AU55. It was not even a perfect coin. It had some wear and some minor marks. But it was so rare and so historically significant that it sold for over $1 million. $1 million for a coin with wear marks. The market for these coins is not just about perfection. It is about scarcity. It is about the story behind the coin. And it is about the fact that you are holding a piece of history in your hands. When you hold a 1977 D error coin, you are holding something that was never meant to exist. It is a survivor of the minting process, a coin that slipped through the cracks of the system. And that makes it incredibly appealing to collectors. But you need to act fast. The supply of these coins is dwindling. As more people learn about the 1977 D errors, more coins are being pulled from circulation. Dealers are actively searching for them. Auction houses are setting up special sales just for them. The window of opportunity is narrowing. Every day that passes, there are fewer coins left to discover. If you have a jar of pennies in your house, you need to check it today. Do not wait. Do not put it off until tomorrow, because that coin might be sitting there right now, waiting for you to find it. The 1977 D Lincoln cent is more than a coin. It is a symbol of hope. It is a reminder that wealth can be found in the most unexpected places. It is a testament to the power of paying attention to the small details. It is proof that the American dream is still alive and that it might just be hiding in your pocket change. So here's my challenge to you. Go to your coin jar. Go to your piggy bank. Go to the drawer where you throw your loose change. Look through every penny you can find. And when you find a 1977 D, take a closer look. Get a magnifying glass. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Check the lettering. And if you see something that looks strange, do not ignore it. Do not assume it is a trick of the light. Do not assume it is nothing, because it could be everything. The coins have been out there for nearly half a century. They have been circulating through the economy, passing from hand to hand, waiting for someone to realize their true value. And now, you are armed with the knowledge to find them. Millions of dollars are hiding in the coin jars of America, and some of them are right here, right now, just waiting to be discovered. The question is not whether they exist. The question is whether you will be the one to find them. You are about to embark on a journey into the shadowy world of high-stakes numismatics, a world where the smallest detail can mean the difference between a modest find and a life-altering fortune. We are talking about the 1988 Lincoln cent, and more specifically, the one that is missing something so crucial, so vital, that its absence has created a legend. We are talking about the 1988 no mint mark Lincoln cent, and its story is one of mystery, suspense, and a fortune that is waiting to be discovered. The year is 1988. Ronald Reagan is in the White House. The Cold War is beginning to thaw, and the United States Mint is producing billions of pennies at its facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. These pennies are the lifeblood of American commerce, moving through vending machines, toll booths, and the pockets of millions of people. They are common, ordinary, and utterly unremarkable. Or so we thought. The story begins not in a secret government vault, but at the unlikeliest of places. Imagine a coin dealer, perhaps in a quiet shop, examining a roll of pennies. He is looking for errors, as dealers often do, searching for those tiny imperfections that can turn a penny into a prize. He is examining a 1988 cent, and something seems off. He squints, he holds it under a magnifying glass, and then his heart skips a beat. There is a space on the coin where something should be, and it is not there. It is a void, a ghost of a mark that has vanished into thin air. The legend of the 1988 no-mint mark cent was born. Now, to understand the significance of this missing mark, we must first understand the rules. For years, the United States Mint has used mint marks to identify where a coin was struck. The Philadelphia Mint, the original and most prolific mint, typically used AP. The Denver Mint used AD, and the San Francisco Mint used an S. These tiny letters are like the fingerprints of the coin, telling the story of its origin. For pennies minted in Philadelphia, the standard rule for decades was that there would be no mint mark. This was the status quo, the unspoken law of the coin world. It was so much a part of the landscape that no one thought twice about it. But everything changed in 1980. The rules of the game were rewritten. The United States Mint, in a move that would send shockwaves through the collecting community, decided that all coins, including the Lincoln cent, would carry a mint mark, regardless of where they were struck. The Philadelphia Mint would now use AP. This was a seismic shift. It was a break from tradition, a new chapter in the history of American coinage. From that point forward, the presence of a mint mark became the norm. The absence of a mint mark became the anomaly. But the collectors noticed. The error hunters, the treasure seekers, the ones who look at every coin as a potential piece of history, they began to find them. And when they did, the world of numismatics was turned upside down. The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln cent was not just a coin. It was a clue, a piece of a puzzle, a whisper from the past that promised a fortune. The value of this coin is not just a matter of a few dollars. It is a story of exponential growth, a testament to the power of rarity. In its highest grades, with the ideal luster, the unblemished surface, and the full, sharp strike that collectors covet, this coin becomes a masterpiece. In the world of numismatics, the most pristine condition is known as mint state. And within that, the finest grades, like MS-67 and MS-68, are reserved for coins that are almost perfect. To the naked eye, they are flawless. Under magnification, they are breathtaking. When a 1988 no-mint mark cent reaches this level of perfection, its value explodes. This is where the story takes a truly breathtaking turn. We are not talking about a few $100s or even a few thousand. We are talking about the kind of money that can rewrite your family's future. We are talking about the kind of money that can make you a millionaire overnight. The very coin that you might have passed by on the street, that you might have spent on a stick of gum, could be your ticket to the high life. Imagine the thrill of knowing that a coin you found in your pocket change is worth more than a house, more than a luxury car, more than a year's salary. It is a thought that has sent shivers down the spines of collectors for decades. The reported market sales of the 1988 no-mint mark cent have reached astonishing heights. In the rarest of cases, when the coin is in the highest state of preservation and has been authenticated by the leading grading services, it has been valued at up to $1.7 million. Let that number sink in for a moment. $1.7 million for a penny that cost the government a fraction of a cent to make. $1.7 million for a coin that was accidentally struck. It is the ultimate rags to riches story, a testament to the fact that fortune truly does favor the bold. So what makes this particular penny so valuable? It is the confluence of two powerful forces, rarity and demand. The number of 1988 no-mint mark cents that were produced is unknown, but experts believe it is very small. They were only struck for a short period of time before the mistake was discovered and corrected. This means that every single one that exists is a precious artifact. It is a needle in a haystack, a ghost that haunts the coin-collecting world. The demand for this coin is driven by the passionate and dedicated community of coin collectors. These are people who have spent their lives searching for these hidden treasures, who have dedicated countless hours to the pursuit of numismatic excellence. They are not just collectors, they are historians, detectives, and treasure hunters. They understand the value of a coin beyond its face value. They understand the story it tells. The story of the 1988 no mint mark cent is not just a story about a coin. It is a story about the human condition. It is a story about the thrill of the hunt, the excitement of discovery, and the dream of a life-changing windfall. It is a story that has captivated the imagination of millions of people around the world. But the 1988 no mint mark cent is not the only mystery from that year. There is a darker, more shadowy side to this story. There is a twist that will make you question everything you know about this coin. You see, the story of the 1988 penny is also a story of forgery, of deception, and of the lengths that people will go to in order to get rich quick. As the value of the 1988 no mint mark cent skyrocketed, the forgers began to take notice. They realized that they could make a fortune by manufacturing fake versions of this rare coin. They began to alter pennies, grinding down the P mint mark on legitimate 1988 pennies and passing them off as the more valuable error. It was a crime that shook the numismatic world to its core. This is where the plot thickens. The fakes are incredibly sophisticated. They are often almost impossible to detect with the naked eye. To the untrained observer, a fake 1988 no mint mark cent can look just like the real thing. This is why authentication is so crucial. A coin that is not authenticated by a reputable grading service, like PCGS or NGC, is essentially worthless. It is a potential forgery, a trap waiting to ensnare the unsuspecting collector. This introduces a fascinating and terrifying layer of suspense to the story. You might think you have found the Holy Grail, the coin that will change your life. You might be holding it in your hand, dreaming of all the things you will buy. But there is a very real chance that it is a fake, a cleverly crafted deception designed to part you from your money. This is why the 1988 no mint mark cent is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of the dangerous game of treasure hunting. It is a reminder that not everything is as it seems, and that the greatest rewards often come with the greatest risks. But let us go back to the hunt. Let us imagine that you are out there, sorting through your old change jars, your pocket change, and the coins you have collected over the years. You are sifting through the pennies, looking for that one coin that stands out. You see a 1988 penny. You pick it up, and you turn it over. You hold it under a light, and you look for the mint mark. And then, your heart skips a beat. It is not there. You have found it. You have discovered the treasure that so many people have been searching for. The feeling of discovering a 1988 no mint mark cent is truly exhilarating. It is a feeling that is difficult to describe. It is a mixture of surprise, excitement, and pure joy. It is the moment when a dream becomes a reality. It is the moment when you realize that your life is about to change forever. The answer is simple, but it requires patience and care. First, you must resist the temptation to clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value, stripping away the natural patina that collectors cherish. You must handle it with care, holding it only by the edges to avoid leaving fingerprints. You must treat it like the precious artifact that it is. Then, you must have it authenticated. This is the most important step in the process. You need to send it to a professional grading service, like PCGS or NGC. These companies will examine your coin, verify its authenticity, and assign it a grade. The grade will determine its value. A coin that is graded MS67 is going to be worth far more than a coin that is graded MS63. The grade is everything. Now, let's talk about what makes a coin a true premium. The 1988 no mint mark cent is a single example of a much wider phenomenon. But what sets this coin apart is the story behind it, the specific nature of the error, and the incredible value it has achieved. It is a story of a mistake that became a fortune. Think about the journey of this coin. It was struck by a machine. It was tossed into a bag with millions of other pennies. It was shipped to a bank. It was given to a customer. It was spent on a cup of coffee, a newspaper, or a pack of gum. It passed through countless hands, completely unnoticed. And then, one day, someone looked at it. Someone saw something that no one else had seen. Someone recognized its true value. This coin is more than just a piece of metal. It is a time capsule, a snapshot of a moment in history. It is a reminder that the world is full of hidden treasures, just waiting to be discovered. It is a symbol of the power of observation, the importance of knowledge, and the thrill of the hunt. The reported sales of the 1988 no mint mark cent are a testament to its enduring appeal. In the rarest cases, when the coin is in the highest state of preservation, it has been valued at up to $1.7 million. That is a number that is hard to comprehend. It is a number that can change your life in an instant. It is a question that has haunted collectors for decades. It is a question that has driven them to search through millions of pennies, hoping to find that one coin that will make them rich. It is a question that you should be asking yourself right now. The market for rare coins is a global phenomenon. It is a market that is driven by passion, by history, and by the dream of a life-changing find. It is a market that is growing every day as more and more people discover the thrill of coin collecting. The 1988 no mint mark cent is the crown jewel of the modern era coin market. It is a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors around the world. It is a coin that represents the pinnacle of numismatic achievement. So as you go about your day, think about the coins in your pocket. Think about the jars of change that are sitting in your closet. Think about the pennies that you have been saving for years. Could one of them be the 1988 no mint mark cent? It is a question that is worth asking. It is a question that could change your life forever. The twist in this story, however, is not just that there are fakes out there. The real twist is that the 1988 no mint mark cent is still out there. It is still sitting in a jar in someone's house. It is still sitting in a pile of change on someone's desk. It is still waiting to be discovered. It could be in a jar in your own home. It could be in the pocket of a jacket that you haven't worn in years. The chance of finding a 1988 no mint mark cent in circulation is incredibly low, but it is not zero. And that is the beauty of this story. It is the dream that keeps the hunt alive. It is the hope that keeps collectors searching. The story of the 1988 penny is a story of perseverance. It is the story of the collector who spends hours sorting through coins, looking for the one that will change everything. It is the story of the dreamer who believes that anything is possible. And it is a story that is still being written. I want you to look at your change. I want you to examine the pennies in your pocket. I want you to look at the date. I want you to look for the mint mark. I want you to be the person who finds the treasure. The 1988 no mint mark cent is a symbol of hope. It is a symbol of the idea that fortune can be found in the most unexpected places. It is a testament to the idea that with a little bit of knowledge and a lot of patience, you too can strike it rich. The biggest takeaway from this entire journey is that you must look at your coins. You must look at your pocket change. You must take a moment to examine the pennies that you would normally ignore. The 1988 no mint mark cent is real. It exists. It is out there. The potential for a huge financial windfall from this coin is not a myth. It is a documented reality. It is a dream that has come true for a lucky few, and it is a dream that could come true for you. The value is staggering. The hunt is exhilarating, and the reward is life-changing.